Hello students, welcome to the pole science class of class 10, and today we will start with the new topic related to chapter number 2, that is federalism. Previously we studied about the features and the definition of federalism. So we studied about the 7 features of federalism and we completed previously up to here. So today we will start from this para related to federalism. So the exact balance of power between the central and state government varies from one federation to another. That means you can say that, suppose for example India and United States of America, they both follow what? The system of federation or the system of federalism. So according to that, what happens? The balance of power between the central and state government varies from one federation to another. That means what? If suppose USA is having federation and India is also having federation, that means federal system. That means these two countries may have differences in the balance of power. That means the proportion of power. Suppose you can assume that the country of America has proportion of 50-50 distribution of powers. That means 50% of power are with the central government and 50% of the powers are with state governments. But in India it can be different also. It can be like 65 in the hands of central government and 35% in the hands of Indian government also. So this line tells that only, that it can vary from one federation to another. Clear? This balance depends mainly on the historical context in which the federation was formed. And why this is so? Because when it was formed, it was based on that only, that it can be different. There are two kinds of routes through which federation have been formed. So there are actually two kinds of routes. That means through these two systems or two ways the federation was formed actually. The first route involves independent states coming together on their own to form a bigger unit. Clear? The first system is what? The first system, when the federation was formed, what was the system then? Who came actually? The independent states. That means the independent countries came together on their own, means without depending on anyone, they came on their own and they form a bigger unit. Clear? So that by pooling sovereignty and retaining identity, they can increase their security. So an independent states coming by their own capability, they formed what? Sovereignty and also maintaining identity. That means an identity should be there and along with it sovereignty also should be there, by which they can increase what? Their security. That means they can protect themselves through sovereignty and identity. This type of coming together federations include the USA, Switzerland and Australia. So this comes under what? As we have read earlier that there are two kinds of route. This is the first route. The first route involves what? Independent countries which came together in their own, means in their own capability, they thought of forming a federalism or federation. And in that forming of federation, what they actually involved? They involved sovereignty and identity. These two things they involved, by which they can increase their security. That means they can protect themselves through the sovereignty and identity process. So this type of federation is also known as what? Coming together federations. Clear? The first type. And these include countries like the USA, Switzerland and Australia. Clear? Here we learned about this, the first pool of federation, which is known as coming together federations. What they did? They did this, sovereignty and identity through increasing their security. And examples are the three countries. After that, in the first category of federations, all the constituent states usually have equal power and are strong vis-a-vis the federal government. So in this category, whatever the first category, that is coming together federations category, all the constituent states usually have equal power. So you can assume that this central, state, whatever the type of governments are there, clear, central government, state government or state governments will have what? Equal power through the federal government. That means no one will be treated with one another in terms of power, because all of the state governments or central governments have equal power, will have equal power. Now we will move on to the second route of federation forming. The second route is where a large country decides to divide its power between the constituent states and the national government. Now in this second route, what happens? It is actually appropriate for which type of country? A country with what? A large area. When a country with large area decides to divide its power between the constituent states and national government, that means a country which is having area wise, it is very large, and in that case they decides what? They decide to divide its power between central government and the states government. Clear? Now India, Spain and Belgium are examples of this kind of holding together federations. Clear? Now who comes under this second route? India, Spain and Belgium, who are large country actually in terms of area. So the first route was coming together federations. Now the second route of federations forming is known as holding together federations, in which India, Spain and Belgium comes. So in this second category, the central government tends to be more powerful vis-a-vis the states. But as we have seen in the first route, that is coming together federations, all are equal. That means state, central, everyone is equal. But this is not in the case of second route of federation forming, that is holding together. In this system, the central government is more powerful than the state government. Clear? This is the difference. Very often, different constituent units of the federation have unequal powers. Some units are granted special powers. So under this, what happens? Some constituent units of the federation have unequal powers. Unequal in the sense that because more powerful or more powers will be in the hands of central government. So in this way it will become what? Holding together federation. That means second federation will become a power with unequal powers being vested. The balance of power will not be same, and in some cases some units are granted special powers. And we can take the example of Kashmir in this related line. If we talk about India through the second route, that is holding together federation is prevalent in India, and if we read about this line that some units are granted special powers, earlier the state of Kashmir was given special powers of 370, Article 370 and 35A, but now this power has been abolished or revoked. Clear? So after this we will read about what makes India a federal country. Earlier we read about two pools of federal structure. Clear? We read about USA, which falls in the first pool, in which the distribution of power is equal, be it state or be it central. Secondly, we read about the second pool of federation forming, in which India comes, where central government is more powerful than the state government. Now we will read about what makes India a federal country. So we have earlier seen how small countries like Belgium and Sri Lanka face so many problems of managing diversity. Earlier we read about Belgium and Sri Lanka. Earlier they were facing what? They were facing many problems of managing diversity, because in terms of linguistic they were facing problems of managing diversity. That means in terms of, in relation to Belgium, it was Dutch, German, French. They were finding it difficult to manage these three linguistic groups. In Sri Lanka, the native Tamils, then Sinhalas, then Indians were also there. So what about a vast country like India with so many languages, religions and regions? So if countries like Belgium and Sri Lanka, which is small in terms of India, if they are facing problem, then India in terms of area is the 7th largest, And just think that India is a country with unity in diversity. That means languages, many religions and regions are there. So how can a country like India share the power and run the country according to the federal structure? What are the power sharing arrangements in our country? That means in our country means in India, what are the power sharing options actually? How is it shared between the central and state governments? We need to know this. Clear? So let us begin with the constitution. India had emerged as an independent nation after painful and bloody partition. That means after the partition in 1947. Pakistan and India was divided. After that, it has gone through what? A lot of pain and a bloody partition. That means lots of people were killed also, and it was a painful partition. Soon after independence, several princely states became part of the country. After that, what happened? Many princely states were there, run by the king, who were not, first of all, not eager to be a part of India, but then after so much of hard work by the leaders, these princely states actually agreed to be a part of independent India. The constitution declared India as a union of states, and according to the constitution, India is what? A union of states. Although it did not use the word federation, the Indian Union is based on the principle of federalism. As according to constitution, we can say that India is a union of states, but it is not written anywhere that India is a federation. But this union of states or Indian Union is based on the principle of what? Federalism. That means what? Our country runs on the principles of federalism. Let us go back to the 7 features of federalism mentioned above. Remember, whatever the features we had discussed earlier, let us go back to that. We can see that all these features apply to the provisions of the Indian Constitution, and whatever the features we have actually learned in the previous topic or in the previous class, that all are related with what? To the provisions of the Indian Constitution. That means what? Indian Constitution, according to the Indian Constitution only these features are relevant. The Constitution originally provided for a 2-tier system of government. The union government, or what we call central government, representing the Union of India, and the state governments as usual. That means what? That's according to the Constitution also, the Constitution actually did what? The Constitution actually provided, that means it was in favor of a 2-tier government. 2-tier means one will be central government, clear, under Union of India, and the other will be state government or governments. That means the number of states and the central government. This is known as the 2-tier system. Later, a 3rd tier of federalism was added in the form of panchayats and municipalities. After that, what happened? According to the Constitution, as you can see, it provided with a 2-tier system of government. Earlier, when India gained independence, it was based on the system of federalism, which ran through central government and the state governments. And again, later a 3rd form of government or federalism was added in the form of panchayats and municipalities. That means the 3rd tier. That can be related to what? Block level or Gaon Panchayat level. In the block level, it will be known as municipalities. That means that will come under town committees, and panchayat will be under village. This was added later. This was known as the 3rd tier of federalism. As in any federation, these different tiers enjoy separate jurisdiction, and unlike in any federation, be it the first path of federation or the second route of federation, under this these different tiers, whatever the central governments, the state governments, or the panchayats or the municipalities, these are separate and they will enjoy separate jurisdiction. It means what? They will function according to their own jurisdiction. That means own area. Suppose the panchayats will be responsible for maintaining the duties and the works given to manage within that village level only. they will not come to this panchayat, will not be responsible to finish the work of the municipalities. So they will be given separate jurisdiction, and according to their jurisdiction, these municipalities, these panchayats, the central government and state government will work. The constitution clearly provided a threefold distribution of legislative powers between the union government and the state governments. Thus it contains three lists. So as there was two separate tier of government, then later a third tier of government was formed as panchayats and municipalities. In that way only, the powers are also divided into three heads actually between the union and state governments, and these are known as the legislative powers. There are three lists actually. Number 1 is union list, number 2 is state list, and number 3 is concurrent list. Clear? So we will wind up today's topic here only, up to this state government, and in the next class we will complete the three list, whatever the constitution has provided, the legislative powers between the central government and the state government. That means union list, state list and concurrent list we will complete in the next class. And I hope that whatever the points we read today regarding India being a federal country, and the previous one, that was two routes of forming federation. The first one was forming the federation by a country like USA, Switzerland, and the second route of federation was formed by a country large in area like Spain, India. So I hope that all the points that we discussed today is very much clear in your minds, and with this I will wind up today's topic. Thank you.